Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sarvesham swastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Subramani sir, unmute yourself and the floor is yours. Unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Madhu. Good evening to all. First of all, I thank our President K. Viswanathan for giving me an opportunity to host this webinar on sustainability and net zero for the construction industry through as a chairman of Green Building and Eco-Friendly Materials and Method Committee, along with my co-chairman, Shri Ramaprabhu. With this, it's my pleasure to welcome today's chief guest, our own President, Shri K. Viswanathan sir, President BI. I once again welcome you, President sir. And I welcome Shri Ramaprabhu, co-chairman for Green Building and Eco-Friendly Materials and Method. I welcome you, sir. I welcome today's keynote speaker, architect Jyothi Gupta, associate professor, School of Architecture, Christ deemed to be University, Kengeri campus, Bangalore. I welcome you, madam. I also welcome our honorary general treasurer of BAI and chairman BI BS committee, Shri Anniruddha Nakhawa, sir. I welcome you, sir. And I welcome my own state chairman, Shri Srinivas Reddy, for leading this webinar. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas Reddy, sir. I thank Mr. Madhusudan for coordinating with me and architect and others to make this webinar a success. I thank you, Mr. Madhusudan, sir.
Thank you, sir.
At the outset, I welcome all the participants for this webinar. I, along with our co-chairman, will definitely keep to the expectations of our beloved president in arranging few more webinars, sir. With this, I once again welcome you all for the webinar program, and I hope to look forward for the fruitful discussion. Thank you, one and all. Mr. Madhu.
Thank you. President, sir, opening remarks.
Thank you. As the National President, I wish to convey my happy BA greetings to all the participants of today's meeting. First of all, I appreciate Shri K. Subramani, the chairman of the BA Green Building Committee, for organizing this webinar on sustainability and net zero for construction industry today. I recognize the presence of other stalwarts, our keynote speakers, Ramaprabhu from Chennai, Anniruddha Nakhawa from Mumbai, Srinivasa Reddy from Bangalore, and others. Also, I wish to welcome today's keynote speaker, architect Jyothi Gupta from School of Architecture. Thank you, madam, on behalf of BI. All of you know that this year theme of BI is Resilient Today, Sustainable Tomorrow. And today's topic partially coincides with the above theme also. I wish to say a few words about the theme. Resilient implies navigate the challenges of today and be flexible to adapt the new opportunities. Sustainability concludes, in our construction, we have to plan and build the future in such a way that we should not exhaust the natural resources of the Mother Earth, like water and mineral, but we should preserve it for the future generations. I don't want to go and elaborate. Next, regarding the advancement topic net zero, our today's speaker will cover most of the details. I wish all the success for today's program and I request to conduct further proceedings. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Shri Ramaprabhu sir will introduce the keynote speaker. Ramaprabhu sir, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to welcome Jyothi Gupta, an esteemed architect, geospatial data scientist, and associate professor at SCAST School of Architect with over 16 years of experience in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry. She has made significant contributions to smart cities, spatial networks, and urban analytics. Her exceptional work has earned the prestigious title of Global Smart Cities Champion by the World CSR Congress. She holds a postgraduate degree in Smart Cities and Urban Analytics from University College London and is currently pursuing a PhD in Urban Spatial Data Science and Smart Cities at SCAST and VGU. Throughout her career, she has worked with leading organizations such as Compass Group London, L&T Construction, Cognizant and Synergy, successfully managing global operations and major corporate projects for Tech Mahindra, Flipkart, Mercedes-Benz, TCS, and IBM. Jyothi is a distinguished researcher and academic, having presented 31 national and international forums on smart cities and spatial networks. As a visiting professor at renowned institutions like CUPT University, INSOFI, CMS Jain University, and Oxford School of Architecture. She has been instrumental in shaping the next generation of professionals. Her expertise in geospatial, data science, urban development, and sustainability has led to valuable collaboration with Oxford University, UCL, and Future Cities Catapult. We are truly honored to have her with us today at the Builders Association of India and extend our warmest welcome. Thank you.
Ma'am, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself. You are co-host.
Thank you very much. Thank you, K. Viswanathan sir. Thank you, Subramani sir. Thank you, Ramaprabhu sir, for the valuable words and the details on the net zero and construction industry. A special thanks to Madhusudan sir for organizing and inviting me to this part of this forum. And I'm really excited to come and share my experience about what I have been doing till now. So I will be go ahead sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, sir? Sir, is my screen visible? Can you reply?
Yeah, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So a very good afternoon and thank you so much again for making me part of green building and eco-friendly materials and method community. So going ahead to understand why actually sustainability is important and net zero, I thought to first explain what is sustainability, how Indian economy is being seen, and what is the growth plan. So as we all know, sustainability is it's something that in a way that we need to not harm the environment. It is a way wherein we need to retain the natural resources, and it's a way wherein we can have a long-term ecological balance. And India is expected to grow about $3 trillion from to 36 to $26 trillion by 2047. So today being on 2025, how we plan ourselves to grow from that scale. And when we consider in the growth, we need to also say how is the electricity, how is the renewable energy is being grown. Now, sustainability is the main three aspects to understand. One is environment that I mentioned about natural resources management, zero waste and clean energy. Second is society, welfare, equal opportunity, social coherence. Economy, that is the economic growth. It talks about employability, it talks about technology and wealth creation. What is net zero? Now, why are we actually having this word net zero? So net zero, as the name suggests, it is the zero emission of carbon dioxide emission. What is the carbon dioxide content in the air? And how are we making it zero content is what our target is. Presently, as you see, we are at 30 plus target. We are looking for net zero target and the negativity emission, that is the carbon removal approach. And to mitigate from now to net zero, you can see from 40 to net zero, it is a big challenge. So this is what I would like to tell you about net zero before we get into the details. And this study was done by WRI. It was from the System Change Lab, and how the 1.5 degrees is being changed from the global warming. Okay. So when I talk about net zero, it is about the analysis that we get into the details. So this is a small study. How did the net zero came up into picture? So there was a Paris Agreement that was planned. And in this Paris Agreement, they had planned to go ahead with a content from all the countries to make the country net zero. And this meeting that happened in Paris was in 2016. All the countries have confirmed, and our country are yet to confirm about the target. And the country that they confirmed was 2050 to make their countries net zero. Now, the 10 key aspects of how we can actually target and imitate most of the net zero application. One is the coal plant. How are we actually retiring the coal plant? If you know, most of the industries have coal plants. They emit a lot of black waves that comes out, and that actually mix up and get into the carbon dioxide contents, and that is a very harmful for all of us. Second is investing in clean energy and efficiency. Then retrofitting and decarbonizing buildings. Then we understand the decarbonizing the cement, steel, and plastic. Then this is debatable, shifting to electric vehicles, increasing public transport, biking and walking, decarbonizing aviation and shipping, halting deforestation and restoring the lands, reducing the food loss and waste, and trying to improve the agriculture. And finally, to have more of vegetarian compared to the wheat. So the study was done by World Resource Institute, and it was sourced in 2020. Now, when I come to the next part of sustainability and net zero, let's talk about ESG. ESG is the more trending aspects of our environment. ESG talks about environment, social governance. It talks about the assessing the organic business practices. It talks about the performance. So when I talk about E, it is the environment as the air and water quality of a city, the carbon footprints, the natural resource depletion, and also the waste management pollution. When I talk about the social aspects, we talk about the organization treating people, we talk about the communities, we talk about the diversity, we also talk about the human rights and child labor. Then there comes the governance. Governance talks about the corruption, the bribery, the whistleblower program, and how the various aspects can be taken care of. SDG. SDG, I think, is one of the important parts in sustainability and how this SDG can be considered. As you all know, there are 17 main SDG goals. Whether I talk about partnering with the goals, whether I talk about no poverty, gender equality, I talk about clean water, clean air, I talk about sustainable cities, we talk about affordable and clean energy system, we talk about climate action. So these are the sustainable development goals. So this goals was targeted by the United Nations, and the United Nations, the Secretary in General had mentioned that 2050 is a target for everyone to come up with the sustainable targets. And till now, there is nothing positive that has been seen. We have already crossed half of the 2050, and where we reach in 2050, we can see what is the target seen. What can an engineer and architect do to support on the net zero aspects? One is increase water preservation. As a designer or as an engineer, we need to look for water preservations. We need to improve the environment market. We need to try to use wastewater treatment plants. We also need to understand about the water efficiency. We need to use the low VOC content materials. We need to use more of native species in landscape. As I mentioned in my previous slide, power plants and power lines, they're important aspects of it. Then access to transportation infrastructure, better comfort and productivity. How are we doing the thermal comfort? In what way are we seeing the conclusion? So the next big aspects of thing is smart sustainable cities. So it's very important for all of us to understand that when we talk about environment, we are doing nothing but we are preserving the natural environment, and we are looking for the future reproductivity. We are looking for future quality. Now, whether I give an example of Delhi for the air quality, water and sanitation in the mid of northern India, noise, this is the major part if you're seen in the southern. Environment quality, what is the quality that has been observed? Biodiversity, how is the forest been retained, and the energy, in what way are we saving the energy system? Then we talk about the social. The social comes up with the ICT. How are we using internet? How are we using the Wi-Fi connectivity? In what way the rural area is coming into the urban space? How is the housing, the culture, and the social inclusion being taken care? Finally, the economic aspect. The economy aspect, we talk about ICT infrastructures, we talk about physical infrastructures, we talk about the urban planning, public spaces, and the sectors. Now, when I go ahead as a designer, what do we actually talk about sustainable cities in one way? Sustainable city can be designed to address social, environment, and economical impact. And in what way are we going ahead? That is having green roofs, having terrace of green walls, having facade with gardens and city farms, tree planting, having city streets, parks, and private properties, green spaces to have more of space. Now, let's not design your house. You need to design the neighborhood. You need to design a complete community. You cannot live in isolation. You need to live in a space wherein it is sustainable and it can be worked out. Now, this is the target that I was mentioning by United Nations. So 2030, they say all the buildings, an architect, an engineer, a civil engineer, or a builder, contractor is working on, it needs to be net zero carbon. By 2050, 100% of the buildings would be net zero carbon. So this research and study was announced by the World GBC, and they mentioned that the energy efficiency and the energy that is in and outside renewable sources are more important. How are we measuring it? How are we reducing the energy efficiency? How are we generating a balance and improving the verification? I wanted to show you this spatial analysis that I actually tried to share, wherein I'm trying to analyze the carbon dioxide content. And if you see about the darker part of the country, that is the darker maroon part, is the higher content of carbon dioxide. And if I target all over the world, definitely Beijing, Shanghai, Tokyo, and then comes our country, Delhi, then Johannesburg, Paris, London, and Los Angeles. So this is what we see with the study of carbon dioxide emission all over the world. Now let's concentrate on the energy and unit confirmation analysis. Now with this study, you see with the help of Statista, the countries have given a pledge that by this year, we will be achieving a net zero. And if I talk about UK, I talk about US, Canada, South America, Australia, they have confirmed about 2040 to 2050. And whereas if I talk about our country, it's committed for 2017, which can also extend if there is no awareness or no work is being worked out. Now, what is the top 5 emitters in the country? So the first one, as we all know, China. Second is the USA. Then our country, India. Then the European Union and the Federation. And the 60% of the gaseous is only with the green gas emission. And about other countries, it's lined up and they are responsible for 76%. And India is always there. So the larger the space, the more the pollution, and that is the impact of net zero that is being happening. What are the mitigation factors that we all can take? As I told you, the first thing is what are the transition of the clean renewable energy sources that's considered? Then how are we using the raw materials? It needs to be climate friendly. It needs to be more substitute with whatever the raw materials we are using in a particular city or country. Then comes waste management. Waste management is another important factor. In what way are we reducing the waste and in what way we expand the waste treatment? Green mobility. Green mobility, as we all know, people are moving from oil to electric, and that is giving advantage for the climate change. And what is the other remedies that we can look for? Energy efficiency. As a designer, as an engineer, we all know the light fixtures, converting from CFL to LED, converting the energy efficiency in all sectors. Finally, the research and development, the R&D sectors. It's important for all of us to have a research and development cell in each and every aspect or situation, because what is generated is through research, because we all are facing something which is new. It has not been there in the earlier days. So it is our need requirement for us to do a research on the climate change. This flow chart actually explains you what is the gap that is being seen. So today we are flexible, we are generalized, saying that, okay, 50% of renewable generation is being seen, and carbon is present 50%, and about the latest stage 2035, it is fully decarbonized. They will be seeing the whole system, how it works. So basically the actions that needs to be taken, we need to have a good investment, we need to have the consumer who is going to use it, the roles and responsibility, the market, and digitalization. This is a very interesting chart that I thought to mention you about the global warming and the net zero that we all are targeting. So the green is what's been highlighted by Paris Agreement. The zero or the orange and yellow shows us that this is the pledge or the targets that we need to take. Suddenly from red, we cannot come to the green, and red is where we all stand. So with this measurement, you all can see where are we now and what is the target that we see in the coming future. What is the gap? Finally, the net zero is basically the amount of green gases which has been released on the atmosphere, and what is the CHE being removed? The decarbonization, the barriers in net zero, the technology, about how the technology is being considered, and finally the balance between carbon emitted and the atmosphere. So why is it difficult for all of us to achieve the net zero? This is a small study that I would like to share, because coming from Bangalore, I would like to tell you that Bangalore is suffering with water. Whether I talk about groundwater, or whether I talk about lakes, whether I talk about rainwater. Now we are starting summer, already Feb, we have touched summer. And if you see the central of Bangalore, which is on the darker red side, it's already severe situation. That is, we don't have water in the central Bangalore. And the pattern that you see in the orange and the yellow part is like the cities are developing. There were earlier 215 lakes. Now we have only 25 lakes available in the Bangalore city. What is the quality of restoration? How are we recycling the wastewater? Are we using the rainwater harvesting? In what way are we rejuvenating the lakes, and what is the total outcome? The second project that I would like to say is about Nagpur. Nagpur is one of the cities which has launched the zero carbon plan for buildings. So in this, India did commit about net zero 2070, and we have targeted the energy efficiency use of it. What is the capacity of using it when we measure with the help of the green buildings, whether we help with the use of occupancy, we use about the applications of the building. Next is Gurgaon. Gurgaon has created a roadmap wherein it has identified net zero to be achieved in Gurgaon by 2050. So the target is transportation. We talk about using waste management. We talk about green buildings. We talk about the energy. We talk about zero carbon by 2030. Next comes in Uttarakhand, wherein one of the architects have designed Morphogenes, have designed a net zero project. In this, it's a manufacturing unit. It's an office space wherein they have connected the solar panels. They have having the packaging unit, the double height foyers, and also the solar heating, about how they have used it. And finally, in Bangalore, we also have a brigade which have launched the first net zero residential project. I thought to just show you the small video so that you understand what is working. So the reason for me to show you this is there are about 420 homes here and an estimation of 500 crores. And this is the first residential project that is gone for net zero. And finally, the last project in the Chennai. Chennai has initiated an international tech park with a net zero business park. And it is being certified by IGBC certification, wherein they have highlighted that it is being considered as the first net zero business park in India. So these are the few examples, case studies, which I thought it would be very useful in our forum to actually know so that for our upcoming projects, we can work aggressively on net zero. So with this, I would like to conclude, sir. Thank you for listening. I'm open for questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, those who want to ask questions can raise their hands using the facility in the app. You can raise hand with the, once you raise the hand, I will unmute you, then you can ask your question. Subramani sir, it seems you want to ask something. I'm unmuting you. And Subramani sir, President sir, Ramaprabhu sir, you can unmute yourself because you're all co-host. Anandu sir, I have made you also co-host.
Hello.
Yeah, Subramani, sir. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Subramani, we can hear you, sir.
How to go about in the small projects? You are talking about big project. What about the residential houses and other things where the project
Yes,
will be
sir.
less?
Yes, sir. So for a smaller project, at least we can look for rainwater harvesting. I don't know what scale I'm talking about, but actually it's for the waste management, the rainwater harvesting, the treatment plant, if not possible. But whatsoever, we can use the reuse of the 3 R's in sustainability: reuse, recycle, and the Hadmoar in sustainability. So I think these 3 things we need to use it for any scale of projects. So scale of project definitely doesn't matter. It's only the design, the concept of understanding of net zero that is more important.
Thank you, madam.
President sir seems wants to ask us. President sir.
Yes. And Jyothi ma'am, in concession industry, we are using a lot of water for curing.
Yes, sir.
I think nowadays a lot of curing compound and admixtures as curing chemicals have come into the market. Any idea? You throw some highlight.
Yes, sir. Recently, we had a presentation wherein we had a team who had actually come up for this curing concept. So, as you rightly said, water is the main concern for all of us. So, there are chemicals that has been added on to the, whether I talk about the cement or the raw materials for the building construction materials. And there are a lot of them in the market, sir. We had a Tunrik team that visited in Bangalore who had come and presented, but they are chemicals that they are adding into the cement or the concrete process so that not completely, at least some quantity of curing can be considered, like can be taken care.
Cost comparison, any idea?
Sorry, sir?
Cost wise, is it very costly?
Yes, sir. Cost wise, it is expensive about 20 to 30% to whatever the normal rate you go. But the advantage is definitely you're going to save it in the other way. But yes, in the starting, when you create an estimate, the cost do go up. And again, it depending on the usage. If you say no, let's go a little bit of chemical, let's do it only for the foundation, let's do it in different element of the construction, that also really matters. So cost is under your control. It's how do you manage it based on the components that you're looking for on the chemical application.
Next clarification regarding waste management. I think
Yes, sir.
nowadays building demolition creates a lot of debris. I think I came to know in Pune there is a firm. They're crushing the debris into coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and also manufacturing paver block and lot of building materials. Any idea you can throw some light?
Yes, sir. Adding to this, sir, there are, as you all know, that there are a lot of metro projects that's coming up. So in the metro project, wherein the load bearing is not that heavy, the load bearing material, wherein we need to add it just to fill up with cement. So we use this reuse materials, that is the renovated materials. Once the building is demolished, you take the materials, you try to reuse it, you crush it, as you rightly said, and then you can use it in areas where you actually don't need that much load capacity, and you can, the use with a sustainable material. So that is where green material plays a major role. It's known as green material or sustainable material.
Thank you, ma'am.
All participants can unmute themselves. I have changed the settings. Those who want to ask questions, they can unmute themselves. Just go to the unmute button and unmute and please ask question, but one at a time. And after your question is over, please mute it. Basara sir, it seems you want to ask a question. VRR sir, hello. You can unmute yourself. I don't know. Ramaprabhu sir, you can unmute yourself, sir.
Actually, we are waiting.
VRR sir, you can ask your question, sir.
Yeah, not a question regarding this water curing. There are plaster where when you are doing plastering, if you mix that compound, You need not cure. You need not put the water at all. And it costs very little only, little more than what you spend on the curing and labor and water. That is little more than that, but it is advisable to go for the compound that has been come in the market, and we can use it while plastering itself, and we need not cure the surface.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, Mr. Anniruddha Nakhawa will deliver the concluding
I
remarks.
have a question, please, if I can.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. I had a question regarding when a developer, he constructs a building, and when he goes for the bathroom fittings, we have to break the wall again and put all the things, and that really creates a huge um work involved, and the pollution is also so very much caused by it. So there is no technology where we can have that kind of a thing where we don't need not again break the wall and do all this stuff.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your question. I would put the answer in two formats. One is there is a BIM technology that's been introduced, building information modeling. So before the building is built, this building drawings get into a software, and then they try to work on coordination so that you can avoid this kind of rework in construction. That is first thing, using BIM modeling. Second thing, if it's already built and then you want to insert a pipe or you want to use a CP fittings, so one is that you need to have the beauty saying that it needs to be concealed. And when you're saying it needs to be concealed, then definitely we need to break it and put. And there are some fittings, definitely they are more expensive, which is exposed on the outside. So definitely you don't need to chip and do the necessary core cutting job. But again, that would be expensive because when you see some product outside, the maintenance would be a problem, sir. Putting inside, that one-time investment of cutting and breaking and putting inside and closing it, and instead of maintaining the material, because material matters, and the water flow, then how can you maintain? Because when you're using on daily basis and the toilets, we need to be really careful. It's a plumbing work. So this is what I had experienced when I was working with the project with TCS and embassy. So we had the same challenges. The architect was changed in between the project, and then the architect came up with a new style, new fitting. Then the question was raised how the contractor said that there will be a cost change, there will be a major impact on the cost. Then the only two things is, do you need the aesthetics or do you need to save the cost? Then we came up with another two options about how can we reduce the cost and give a good fitting. So this was during construction, sir. Before construction also we had a project wherein the architect was from Singapore, and then they had proposed to have a drawing, and he doesn't know anything what's happening in India. So that is where we came in with a BIM modeler or software designer who came up, who just shared the site logistics to the architect so that they can analyze the site measurement and execute. So this is the answer to your question, sir. I hope I...
Thank you so much.
I would like to ask one question.
Yes, sir. Please.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I want to know what are the types of recycling of this construction waste, because huge amount of construction waste generates in every project site. What are the types of recycling, and what is the byproducts we can get out of that?
Right. So nowadays in the market, recently I had been to an exhibition of AEC in our BIEC conference in Bangalore. So there were a lot of this green materials available. That is what Viswanathan also was mentioning, wherein I mentioned about green materials, wherein, as you said, the materials, it breaks down and you can reuse that material. One is the normal cement, concrete, whatever is being thrown, the stones, and second is the wood. The wood also can be reused. The only thing which is not reusable, as we all know, plastic. Steel, we can definitely melt. Iron. So definitely based on the material types, the reuse model differs. And again, the application differs. And then the cost, it will be higher. It will be on the higher end because the process of making it recycle is definitely a challenging process.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Shall I ask now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I am Rajendra Prasad from a tier 2 city in Karnataka, that is Shivamoga. Okay, wherein the projects are not of that much, large scale, basically of independent residences, and here and there some apartments of smaller, units. It's a challenge for us, how to achieve this net zero uh, sustainability in my places like this, tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Okay. Okay.
So I am
Thank you,
very
sir.
happy,
Thank-
very happy that last week Mr. Jaishankar of Brigade was here. I was having a long discussion with him to bring some projects to my city. Then but at that time he spoke about this project. Now I am seeing that you also said it is the first in India that now it is achieved that city on project in Bangalore. It's very nice. You just tell me how best we can make use of this, in pertaining to our cities only. I don't type say.
Yes, sir. Sir, firstly, let me tell you, sir, thank you for your question. And that nowadays, the only place where infrastructure development is happening is only in tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 1 is already exhausted, sir. You have
Yeah.
seen. Has shown you the Bangalore city where we don't have water to drink. So that is what's the condition of the tier 1 cities. Now, tier 2, tier 3 is where people like us, because we need to earn our bread and butter, and we as an engineer, we need to go into tier 3 and tier 2 cities only to earn money to build constructions there. Now, what I would suggest is, so these are the few key points that I mentioned, the 10 points on the energy, about the solar panels, the rainwater harvesting, the preservations, about ecological aspects. So I probably the 10 points are from my slides. Each point, the material, the green material, the reusable material that we can use, and how we can use it in construction. So definitely, I would like to highlight the cost will be a shoot, because what you must have designed for the building without sustainable material and with the difference with the sustainable material will have an impact. But trust me, this is what the government is looking for. And when you talk about Karnataka, seeing the problem is happening in tier 1 cities, our government is also pushing everyone to convert their building into green buildings and net zero in carbon emission. If not now, later in future, it will be done mandatory. So there is a list of 10 things, sir, that we all need to focus on. Maybe I could share you, or there's a report from the government on the net zero that you can get it online. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What I would like to request with my HQ authorities is, let us know present this in a printable format in our construction journal. So whoever is there from HQ, sir, kindly note. We would like to have this. We would like to have this in our construction journal.
Sir,
Yes,
the
sir.
video of this
President, sir.
webinar.
President, sir, it's a kind request from our side, sir. Please.
President, sir, Mr. Rajendra Prasad is requesting you something.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So the video of this webinar will be hosted on BAI's official YouTube channel.
Very good.
Okay. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
I
So
can
nice.
create an article of this
Please,
slides,
please,
and I
ma'am,
can
please.
share it to you, sir.
Please.
And
Yeah,
you
sir.
can publish it in your magazine.
Yeah, sir, ma'am, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you
there's
so
one-
much. Thank you so much.
Do you have a format or something, so if you could share
It
me?
has to be in Word format. It is in Word format. And it will
Okay,
be black
nothing
and
else,
white.
sir, the tables.
No,
Okay.
tables is okay. Tables is okay, but the images will be in black and white. So that sort of. Ma'am, there's one question in the Google form. Can we replace cement and still go higher?
Steel structure, sir.
Yeah, cement and he wants to know if we can replace cement and still go higher buildings, tall buildings.
So nowadays there are technologies available. So they are steel constructions only. You don't need cement also. There are only steel constructions available wherein you can have a cantilever. You can design based on that. So materials can be changed based on the design concept. So again, that can be worked out as per the proposal. There are methods available, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think we are nearing an hour of our webinar. President sir and Chairman sir, can we ask Mr. Anniruddha Nakhawa to do the concluding remarks?
Yes, Mr. Madhusudan.
Okay. Anniruddha sir, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Madhusudan. Firstly, I thank and congratulate for having one more online successful webinar on sustainability and net zero practices for construction industry. I thank our chief guest Viswanathan sir, convener Subramani, chairman of Green Building and Eco-Friendly Materials and Method Committee, and co-convenor Ramaprabhu. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, architect Jyothi Gupta, for sharing
Thank you, sir.
her invaluable expertise, and to all of you for active participation. We have gained a profound insight into our crucial role for sustainability and net zero practices in construction industry. As we conclude this enlightening webinar on sustainability and net zero in construction industry, it is evident that the path ahead is challenging yet filled with immense potential. The principles and guidelines outlined by the Paris Summit and the ongoing ACI document 130 OH will definitely provide a robust framework for us to follow, ensuring that our construction practices contribute positively to the environment. We must take these insights and translate them into actionable steps within our organizations and our projects. Let us embrace innovative technologies, sustainable materials, and collaborative efforts to drive meaningful change. The journey towards sustainability and net zero is a collective endeavor, and each of us has a critical role to play. Let this be a call to action, commit to implementing sustainable practices, advocate for greener policies, and inspire others with the industry to join this movement. Together, we can build a more sustainable and resilient future for generations to come by encouraging net zero practices in the academia and social education, and, of course, sustainable construction practices. I'm coming back to this zero water curing for sustainability. President sir and our participants, this matter was taken during our committee meeting for construction chemicals committee profit making by sustainable materials for construction. And a day or two before, I had a call with Dr. Manjrekar, who is the committee chair, and who is also keen to give a lecture on sustainability. And I hope we can ask him to put more light on zero water curing for the concrete. Thank you for participation and dedication to the vital cause. Let's make every project a step towards a greener tomorrow. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Anil sir. Senior Secretary sir, unmute yourself, sir. You can unmute yourself for the vote of thanks.
Good evening.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to express vote of thanks for this webinar. First, I would like to thank Shri K. Subramani, Chairman, Green Building and Eco-Friendly Materials and Method Committee, BA, giving me an opportunity to propose vote of thanks and also organizing this webinar. I would like to thank today's chief guest, Shri K. Viswanathan, President BI, for his participation and encouragement to this webinar. Thank you, sir. Shri S. Ramaprabhu, Co-Chairman and Green Building Eco-Friendly Materials and Methods. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks for today's keynote speaker, J.R. Jyothi Gupta, Associate Professor, School of Architecture, Kengeri Campus, Bangalore, who has given excellent information on the sustainability and net zero for the construction industry. Thank you, madam. I thank Shri Anniruddha Nakhawa, Honorable General Treasurer, BI and Chairman BI BIS Committee. My heartfelt thanks to Shri H.N. Vijayawara, already past President BJ, for attending today's webinar. We are pleased to have him with us today. We look forward for your suggestion and cooperation. Thank you, sir. I thank all the participants for this webinar, and I hope this discussion is fruitful. Thank you, Sri Madhu Sudan, Head Communication, BAI, for taking initiative to organize this webinar. I thank one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. President, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Basar, sir, Ramaprabhu, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all.
you,
I
madam.
will be
Thank you.
sending my article.
Yeah, please,
Thank you
please,
so
please. I'll message you my email ID, our BI email ID.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, madam.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you, President, sir. Thank you,
Thank
our
you.
resource person. Thank you, Jyothi. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Have a nice one.
I'm closing the meeting. Okay, sir,
Okay.
Yes,
President,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
President, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.